CBDCs and XRP, partners or competitors. The global financial system is on the verge of its most profound transformation in decades. Central banks across the world, from the Federal Reserve to the People's Bank of China, from the European Central Bank to the Bank of England, are racing to develop central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. These digital versions of national currencies promise faster payments, improved efficiency, and enhanced control for governments. But they also raise one critical question. What happens to cryptocurrencies like XRP in a world dominated by CBDCs? On the surface, CBDCs appear to compete directly with XRP. After all, if every country has its own digital dollar, euro, or yuan, why would banks and institutions need a separate asset like XRP to move money across borders? Could CBDCs render XRP irrelevant, replacing it with government-backed digital rails? Or is there more to the story? The truth is more complex. While CBDCs will transform domestic money, they face a critical limitation: interoperability. Each CBDC will be issued by a central bank, designed to run on its own system and bound by national laws. The digital dollar will not automatically connect to the digital euro. The ECNY will not seamlessly convert into the digital pound. This fragmentation creates a massive problem for global trade and finance. The very same problem XRP was designed to solve. That's where Ripple's vision comes in. XRP isn't trying to replace currencies. It's designed to act as a bridge asset, moving value across networks instantly and efficiently. In a CBDC world, XRP doesn't become obsolete. It becomes indispensable. Banks and payment providers could use CBDCs for domestic settlements, but they'll still need a neutral asset like XRP to connect those digital currencies across borders. Ripple has already anticipated this future. Through its CBDC platform, Ripple is working directly with central banks to help them issue and manage digital currencies. This platform uses the XRP ledgers technology, but allows central banks to maintain full control over their CBDCs. At the same time, it ensures those CBDCs remain interoperable with the broader global system, a system where XRP can serve as the neutral liquidity layer. So are CBDCs partners or competitors to XRP? The answer may be both. In some scenarios, central banks could attempt to control the rails entirely, sidelining private assets like XRP. But in others, perhaps the more realistic outcome, CBDCs and XRP will coexist, complementing each other. CBDCs provide government-backed stability, while XRP provides neutral interoperability. Together, they could form the backbone of the Internet of Value. This documentary explores the delicate balance between CBDCs and XRP. We'll uncover the origins of central bank digital currencies, the motivations driving governments to embrace them, and the potential benefits and risks they bring. We'll examine Ripple's role in shaping the CBDC conversation and explore whether XRP will be elevated or diminished in the new financial order. Most importantly, we'll look ahead. Will the future be dominated by government-controlled digital currencies, leaving little room for private assets? Or will XRP emerge as the essential bridge that makes CBDCs work on a global scale? This is the untold story of CBDCs and XRP. Partners or competitors? Part 1. The rise of CBDCs. To understand the relationship between CBDCs and XRP, we first need to explore why central banks are racing to create digital currencies in the first place. The idea of a central bank digital currency has been around for years, but in the last decade it's shifted from theory to inevitability. Over 130 countries, representing more than 98% of global GDP, are actively researching, developing, or piloting CBDCs. From the Bahamas' sand dollar to China's digital yuan, what was once a fringe idea is now a central part of monetary strategy. Why? The motivations vary, but the core drivers are clear. First is modernization. The current financial system is outdated. Domestic payment systems are slow, expensive, and often inaccessible to the unbanked. By issuing a CBDC, central banks can offer instant digital settlement at the retail and wholesale level, bypassing the inefficiencies of cash and traditional rails. Second is control. Unlike decentralized cryptocurrencies, CBDCs are designed to keep governments firmly in charge. They allow central banks to issue, monitor, and even program money in real time. This opens doors to new monetary policies, such as instant stimulus distribution, programmable tax collection, or expiration dates on funds. For governments, CBDCs represent not just a new technology, but a new level of financial sovereignty. Third is the challenge of stablecoins and private crypto. Assets like USDT, USDC, and even Ripple's own RLUSD have shown the world that digital money works, fast, cheap, and borderless. But from a central bank's perspective, this is dangerous. Why should private companies control what could become the backbone of the financial system? CBDCs are in part a response, a way to reassert government control over the future of money. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated these trends. As physical cash use declined and governments sought more efficient ways to distribute aid, the idea of a state-issued digital currency became far more attractive. Meanwhile, the rise of China's digital yuan put pressure on other countries to act quickly, lest they fall behind in the race for financial innovation and geopolitical influence. But CBDCs are not a monolith. There are two primary categories: retail CBDCs, designed for the general public, functioning like digital cash; wholesale CBDCs, restricted to banks and institutions primarily for settlement and clearing. Both have transformative potential, but both also face unique challenges. Retail CBDCs raise questions of privacy, surveillance, and financial freedom. Wholesale CBDCs, meanwhile, require interoperability across borders to fulfill their promise, and that's where the limitations begin to show. Each CBDC is tied to its issuing country. The digital yuan cannot automatically settle with the digital euro. The digital dollar won't seamlessly connect with the e-naira. CBDCs may fix domestic inefficiencies, but they risk creating a new form of financial fragmentation. In other words, the more CBDCs emerge, the more the world needs a neutral bridge, a role tailor-made for XRP. Still, the rise of CBDCs is undeniable. For governments, they represent progress. For citizens, they promise faster payments and broader inclusion. For institutions, they create efficiencies in settlement. But they also mark the beginning of a new era, one where money itself becomes programmable, traceable, and entirely digital. The next chapter explores Ripple's involvement in the CBDC revolution, how the company has positioned itself as a key partner to central banks, and why XRP may not compete with CBDCs at all, but instead become the critical link that makes them work together. Part 2. Ripple's role in CBDCs. While most crypto projects have treated central banks with suspicion, Ripple has taken a very different approach. Rather than framing CBDCs as competitors to XRP, Ripple has positioned itself as a partner to governments, central banks, and regulators. This strategic choice reflects Ripple's long-term vision: to integrate blockchain into the financial system by working with institutions rather than against them. At the heart of this strategy is the Ripple CBDC Platform. Built on the same underlying technology as the XRP ledger, the platform allows central banks to issue, manage, and distribute their own digital currencies. Unlike public cryptocurrencies, CBDCs on this platform remain fully controlled by the issuing authority. Central banks decide how much currency to mint, who can access it, and how it circulates. Ripple provides the tools, but governments remain in charge. This design solves a critical problem for central banks. Most lack the technical expertise to build secure, scalable blockchain infrastructure from scratch. Ripple's platform offers them a ready-made solution, one that is proven, battle-tested, and built for enterprise-grade payments. With over a decade of experience in cross-border settlement, Ripple brings credibility that few other blockchain companies can match. Ripple has already been piloting CBDC projects around the world. The company announced partnerships with central banks in Bhutan, Palau, Montenegro, and Colombia, among others. In each case, Ripple's technology is being used to test or issue national digital currencies. These are not speculative experiments, but serious initiatives aimed at improving domestic and cross-border finance. But Ripple's role goes beyond providing technology. By embedding itself into the CBDC conversation, Ripple ensures that its ecosystem, and by extension XRP, remains relevant in a digital future. If central banks adopt Ripple's CBDC platform, those CBDCs will be interoperable with the XRP ledger and RippleNet. This means XRP can act as a neutral bridge asset whenever value needs to move across borders or between different CBDCs. It's a subtle but powerful strategy. Ripple doesn't need every CBDC to run directly on XRP. What it needs is for CBDCs to connect through systems where XRP already provides liquidity. The CBDC platform is essentially a Trojan horse, a way to make sure that even if governments control their own money, XRP remains the asset that makes that money flow globally. Ripple's approach also strengthens its regulatory position. By partnering with governments, it demonstrates compliance, responsibility, and legitimacy. This stands in stark contrast to projects that reject regulation or seek to bypass traditional finance entirely. In doing so, Ripple aligns itself with the institutions that will ultimately decide the future of money. Still, questions remain. Will major economies like the US or the EU embrace Ripple's platform, or will they build their own systems? Could political pressures limit Ripple's reach, especially in regions wary of US-based companies? And even if Ripple succeeds, will XRP itself be indispensable, or will central banks seek to minimize reliance on any private asset? What is clear is that Ripple has positioned itself as a partner, not a rival to CBDCs. By offering the rails and infrastructure, it ensures that when CBDCs launch, they can still connect to the broader Internet of Value, a network where XRP is designed to shine. The next chapter explores the potential synergies and tensions between CBDCs and XRP, how they might complement each other in cross-border settlement, and where friction could emerge as central banks assert control over digital money. Part 3. CBDCs and XRP. Synergy or tension. As CBDCs move closer to reality, one of the most important questions is how they will interact with XRP. On the surface, there are clear areas of synergy. But beneath that cooperation, there is also the potential for tension, as central banks may not want to rely on a private digital asset, even one as battle-tested as XRP. The synergy begins with interoperability. CBDCs will be national by design, siloed within their issuing jurisdictions. The digital dollar won't automatically convert to the digital euro. The digital yuan won't seamlessly connect to the digital pound. Each CBDC may function efficiently within its own borders, but without a bridge, global trade would face the same frictions that plague today's system. XRP provides that bridge. Its neutrality, speed, and liquidity make it the perfect candidate to connect CBDCs across borders, turning isolated digital currencies into a truly global financial system. There is also synergy in infrastructure. Ripple's CBDC platform is built to integrate with existing RippleNet solutions, which already use XRP for on-demand liquidity. This means central banks adopting Ripple's technology are inherently aligning their CBDCs with a framework where XRP is the default settlement layer. Even if a CBDC doesn't directly use XRP, the rails it runs on will be interoperable with the XRP ledger, keeping XRP central to the system. But then comes the tension. Central banks prize control. One of the main reasons they are creating CBDCs is to reassert dominance over digital money, limiting the influence of private stablecoins and cryptocurrencies. For them, relying on XRP, a decentralized asset outside their direct control, could feel like a compromise. Some may prefer to develop bilateral CBDC bridges cutting out XRP entirely. Others may look to alternative solutions from private firms, hoping to minimize dependency on a single asset. Another source of tension is regulation. CBDCs will be subject to strict compliance rules, while XRP operates on a decentralized ledger accessible to anyone. Even with Ripple's enterprise partnerships, skeptics within governments may view XRP as too risky or too independent to rely on at scale. This creates friction. The technical solution is clear, but the political will to embrace it is less certain. Market dynamics add another layer. As CBDCs roll out, governments may attempt to control liquidity corridors directly, issuing their own rails for cross-border settlement. This could sideline XRP in theory, but in practice, coordinating dozens of CBDCs without a neutral bridge asset is incredibly complex. Unless central banks form a truly global consortium, something history suggests is unlikely, a neutral asset like XRP remains the most efficient solution. There is also a psychological tension. XRP has long been pitched as the neutral bridge currency. If CBDCs become the face of digital money, XRP risks being seen as secondary, even if it plays a critical role in the background. Its visibility in the system may shrink even as its utility grows, raising questions about how markets will value it. Yet history shows that financial systems thrive on complementary roles. Cash didn't disappear when cards were introduced. Cards didn't vanish with mobile payments. Each innovation layered on top of the other, expanding choice and efficiency. In the same way, CBDCs and XRP may not replace each other but coexist. CBDCs will serve domestic stability and government control, while XRP provides the neutral bridge that turns a collection of digital islands into a global network. The next chapter explores the risks and challenges ahead, from political pushback and regulatory battles to technological hurdles that could determine whether XRP and CBDCs work together or clash in the years to come. Part 4. The risks and challenges ahead. The rise of CBDCs creates opportunities for XRP, but it also introduces new risks and challenges that could shape its future. For all the synergy between Ripple's bridge asset and government-issued digital currencies, the road ahead is far from guaranteed. The first risk is political resistance. Central banks and governments value control above all else. While XRP provides neutrality and interoperability, it is still a decentralized digital asset beyond the direct reach of any single authority. Some central banks may see this as a threat. They may attempt to build closed CBDC networks, relying on bilateral agreements or custom infrastructure, rather than embracing a neutral bridge like XRP. If that approach gains traction, XRP could find itself competing against state-controlled rails instead of complementing them. A second risk is regulatory scrutiny. XRP has already faced battles in the United States, with the SEC lawsuit dragging on for years before a partial resolution brought clarity. But even beyond the SEC, regulators may remain skeptical of integrating public digital assets into the core of sovereign money systems. Compliance, transparency, and anti-money laundering standards will all be under the microscope. Any hint that XRP could undermine financial oversight could slow or block its adoption in CBDC corridors. Another challenge is competition from private alternatives. While Ripple has positioned itself as a CBDC partner, other firms are developing cross-border settlement solutions too. Swift, Visa, MasterCard, and even new blockchain platforms are experimenting with their own multi-CBDC systems. If these alternatives gain central bank support, XRP could be sidelined, not because it lacks technical superiority, but because incumbents with deeper ties to regulators and governments win the political game. There is also the risk of market fragmentation. Instead of one global network, we may see regional blocks. China's digital yuan might dominate Asia, the digital euro may dominate Europe, and the digital dollar may dominate the Americas. In such a fragmented environment, XRP could still serve as a bridge, but its role may be limited if regions prefer to rely on their own controlled systems. This would reduce XRP's opportunity to become the universal settlement layer it was designed to be. Technology itself presents challenges. While XRP Ledger has proven speed and scalability, the demands of a global CBDC network would be immense. Security, interoperability, and resilience against cyber attacks will be critical. If XRP cannot demonstrate rock-solid performance at the highest levels, central banks may hesitate to rely on it. Finally, there is the perception problem. XRP's greatest strength is also its greatest risk, its visibility in the crypto world. While retail investors see it as a revolutionary asset, some governments still associate crypto with speculation and volatility. Even if XRP provides unmatched utility, winning the trust of regulators, policymakers, and the public will be essential. Without that, it risks being dismissed as just another cryptocurrency instead of the backbone of global liquidity. These challenges are significant, but they are not insurmountable. Ripple has spent years cultivating relationships, proving compliance, and positioning XRP as a tool for governments rather than a rival. Success will depend on whether it can continue walking the fine line between decentralization and institutional trust. The next chapter explores the future of CBDCs and XRP, whether they will coexist as partners in a hybrid system, or whether CBDCs will dominate in a way that leaves XRP fighting for relevance. Part 5. The future of CBDCs and XRP. As central banks accelerate the rollout of CBDCs, the stage is being set for a dramatic reordering of the financial world. The question is no longer if CBDCs will exist, but how they will interact with assets like XRP. Will they coexist in a cooperative framework? Or will central banks attempt to shut private solutions out of the picture? The answer may lie somewhere in between. The most likely scenario is a hybrid future. CBDCs will dominate domestic payment systems, serving as the state-backed digital cash of their respective nations. But once money needs to cross borders, the old problems resurface. Multiple standards, legal silos, and a lack of interoperability. Here, XRP can serve as the neutral bridge, enabling fast, liquid, and transparent settlement between otherwise incompatible CBDCs. In this model, CBDCs and XRP don't compete, they complement one another. Ripple's CBDC platform reinforces this vision. By providing central banks with the tools to issue their own currencies while ensuring those currencies remain interoperable, Ripple has positioned XRP as a natural part of the new system. A central bank may not want to admit it relies on XRP, but in practice, XRP could quietly grease the wheels of cross-border finance. Another possible future is the regional block model. In this scenario, major powers like China, the US, and the EU develop their own CBDC ecosystems, each with preferred settlement mechanisms. Regional systems may dominate trade flows, but the complexity of global commerce means neutral bridges will still be required. Even if regional powers try to exclude XRP, the sheer efficiency of using a decentralized bridge asset may pull it back into relevance. There is also a more speculative possibility, one where CBDCs eventually converge into a global settlement layer. If such a system ever materialized, it would need a neutral reserve asset. XRP, with its liquidity and independence from any single government, could fill that role. While this may sound ambitious, history suggests that efficiency tends to win in the long run, and neutral assets often outlast national experiments in global trade. Of course, there are less optimistic futures. In one, central banks exert such control over digital finance that assets like XRP are relegated to the margins, used by retail traders and niche institutions but cut off from mainstream adoption. In another, competing private solutions from traditional players like SWIFT or Visa dominate the bridge function, leaving XRP with limited influence. But even in those futures, XRP has resilience. Its established ecosystem, broad global distribution, and proven technology mean it will not vanish. Unlike speculative tokens, XRP has embedded itself into the very conversations that shape the future of money. And that makes it difficult to ignore. Ultimately, CBDCs and XRP are not destined to be pure competitors or pure partners. They are complementary forces moving in parallel, one driven by governments seeking control, the other by technology seeking efficiency. The tension between them will define the next decade of finance. What is certain is that the digital money revolution is already here. The age of CBDCs is beginning. The question is whether they will be islands, or whether XRP will connect them into a true internet of value. The final chapter closes with a cinematic reflection: a world of programmable money, central banks in control, and XRP running quietly in the background, the invisible bridge holding it all together. Partners or competitors? CBDCs are no longer an idea on the horizon. They are becoming reality. Governments will use them to control domestic money, to program policies, and to modernize payments. But control comes with limits. A digital dollar, euro, or yuan may work at home. Yet without a bridge, the global economy risks becoming a patchwork of digital islands. That's where XRP comes in. Neutral, fast, liquid, and borderless. It provides what CBDCs cannot: interoperability. In the future of programmable money, XRP may not compete with CBDCs, but complete them. It may not replace the dollar or euro, but connect them. And in that role, it could become one of the most indispensable assets in the new financial system. The question remains: will CBDCs and XRP coexist as partners, or will governments try to push private solutions aside? The answer will shape the Internet of Value itself. This has been CBDCs and XRP, partners or competitors. If you're ready for more deep dives into the future of money, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to LTL Productions. The story of finance is being rewritten, and you don't want to miss it.